Welcome everybody to the program night for June. I'm going to turn our program over to Deb Gibson to introduce our guest and get things rolling.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Bill asked me earlier how Andrea and I met, and when I first retired and got interested in photography, she had posted a post on Chuck Place's newsletter, and I loved the content of it, and she happened to put in her website. So I looked at her website and saw that she offered photography classes and just little small group classes. And so I signed up for a couple and was lucky both times, I think because it was middle of the week and I got to have her all to myself. So the first class we did, I remember, was up at the Mission, and I learned more about my camera in about 15 minutes with her than all the classes I sat through at Sammy's. And then since then, she's also come over and helped me do some post-processing work on some of my images to get them ready for exhibition night. And I started following her on Instagram, and so when I was looking for a speaker for June, I thought of her, and she was local, and doing social media is something that we have never explored as a club. So, well, first I just reached out to her, and then she was the one that came up with the idea. And she said, what about, this? And I thought this would be awesome. It'd take us to the next level. So without further ado, Andre, it's all up to you.
All righty. Thank you, Deb, for the introduction. And yes, I am very excited to share with you the knowledge of the importance of Instagram for photographers. I think a lot of us are well versed in our cameras and how our camera works. Maybe we are serious hobbyists, perhaps we are professional photographers, but nonetheless, it's important to know and to learn or to be aware that there are ways that we can share our photography, because our photography is meant to be shared with others, for others to see it, to experience it. So, so here it is. Let's start it, okay? Let's see, there we go. Bing. All right, I would just, as a photographer, I would say that to me, photography is an art of observation. Is about finding something interesting in an ordinary place. I found that it has little to do with the things we see, and everything to do with the way you see them. So my name is Andreina. You see this right spelling there, where a lot of my friends and colleagues call me Andre. My Instagram is IC Santa Barbara. Well, ICSB. My website is IC Santa Barbara, and then you see my email at the bottom. To tell you a little bit about myself, I am a Brooks graduate. I graduated in 2005. And prior to that, my career was based on advertising and television. I made the transition to photography by going to Brooks. And after that, I pretty much have focused on marketing and commercial photography. And here we go. And how about you? Do you use Instagram? How often? What are you interested in learning today? Because it's a larger group, I'm not gonna ask you individually, or I'm not gonna ask for participation. I will ask you to hold questions until the end. If you want to learn a little bit about my photography and what I do, happy to tell you a little bit more about it, but I want to save every minute and make sure that you get the information you came in for. I think we can all, talk about our pictures and what we like and who we photograph and where we travel, but I want to focus pretty much, stay on track with the topic of our Instagram.
Andre, this is Bill Banning for just a minute. Any of the club members, if you want to use the chat function to send in questions, we can do it that way as well. So feel free to do it, wait till the end, or if you think of something, send it in and we'll keep it in a queue for her at the end.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Also, so besides being a photographer, I also work as social media manager for a couple of businesses here in Santa Barbara. So that keeps helps me to stay fresh and stay on top of things. I'm a Santa Barbara local, and I live to here on Hidden Valley, so easy. So why do we use social media? I would say the main reason why we use social media is to connect with people near or far. That is our first instinct, is just to connect with family, friends, and peers. Okay, but beyond that, if we can use also social media to promote, sell, and build a brand, and our photography can be the brand. So there's no reason why using Instagram, from starting from sharing with our friends and family, it wouldn't go and help us to get photography gigs, get new opportunities, get new projects, and establish strategic alliances or collaborations with other businesses. So right here, you will see some of the numbers. 75% of small businesses now at least once a quarter gain new businesses or new followers or customers from social media. 61% of young people refer to social media, as a point of reference of where to go, what to do, where to visit. So those statistics are there for you to look at. Now, what do we as photographers use social media? As photographers, we capture images of moments, people, places, things. These images aren't just for us, they are meant to be shared. We have different numbers of platforms where we can share our work, what we do. Obviously, we have Instagram, which is the one that we'll focus on. But there's also Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, and Clubhouse. Some of us might be familiar with some of them. Some of them might be familiar with all of them. And we might use it in different extents. I know for a fact that I use Facebook just to connect with family and friends, people that are close to me, and for businesses and my photography, just to highlight my photography in general, or specifically much more than anything, I would say I use Instagram. A little side note on Clubhouse. I don't know if you have been aware of this new social media platform. The reason I wanted to highlight it real quick is because it is a great resource. People host chats or they just basically have like a chat rooms where people can join in and listen to a specific topic of interest. So if you haven't heard about Clubhouse, feel free to check it out. I think it's a great resource for topics of all kinds. Okay, this chat happens in real time, so people just kind of join at any time. All right, so back to Instagram. Why Instagram? Because we are visual communicators. Instagram emphasizes on showcasing photographs more than any other social media platform, which it makes it perfect for photographers. And just letting you know, I'll talk a little bit about the importance of Instagram, and then I will go and I'll focus primarily on my workflow. I want to show you what I do and how I do it. How do I go from the process of capturing an image to editing my photograph to uploading it into Instagram to sharing it using all the different Instagram options that we have. Okay, so hopefully it will be interesting to everybody. Everybody will get a little piece of it, either if you're a beginner on Instagram or if you're a little bit more of a seasoned user. And so my intention is that you all get something out of this. Also, for photographers, we use Instagram as a marketing platform. And a lot of people browse through Instagram to discover new interests, new photographs. So besides being a great platform to just share with friends, we can also market our work. The other great reason is because it's a mobile usage. Instagram is a mobile platform. It can be used only through phones, or primarily through phones or iPads, tablets. since in 80% of 80% of the media browsing happens on a mobile device, you can access a lot more people just from the palm of your hand. So we can use it on the go. So for those who are interested in sharing your work on Instagram, the first thing that you want to think about is what's your intention. Do you want to use it to share with your family and friends and peers, or do you want to use it to market your photography? Photography can also be used to increase the number of people who go and visit your website. So website traffic can be increased. You can use it to sell your photography. You can use it to communicate and create communities. So what begins with the intention to share your work with friends and family, that it starts with, okay, my content is personal. I would like to share it just with friends and family. And my recommendation, if that is your focus today, or that's how you like to start, that's great. But you want to focus on storytelling. So you want to be a little bit more intentional with it. You want to curate your content. You want to make sure that your content does make sense if people come and visit. You can pepper it with, images of your photography and personal images as well. But they got to make sense. They got to be cohesive. Creating also content that is engaging and content that is fun. Now, if your intention is to sell your work, book more photo shoots, build a brand, how about that? So when you use Instagram with intention of promoting and growing a brand, then you have to be more strategic. You got to know your audience. You got to figure it out how to reach it. You got to figure out who might be your potential client. And there are ways to learn about that. So let me tell you a little bit about how I use Instagram. So as I mentioned before, my personal Instagram is ICSB. You see it on the left-hand side. I use it primarily a Santa Barbara-based content with images from Santa Barbara iconic locations. I have a personal affinity to sunrise and sunsets. Why? Well, because the lighting is just amazing around that time. However, once in a while, I do give myself the freedom to post images from my travels and adventures elsewhere. And I like to share what I discover and what I see. But most of my followers come to my profile to see images of Santa Barbara for the most part. And you will see that on my profile, I describe a little bit about who I am. I'm a creative director and photographer. I'm a Santa Barbara-based visual ambassador. I invite them to DM me for projects and collaborations, and also have prints available for purchase. And I share a link to my website for my print shop. So that's what people will see right there. On the top part, you'll see how many posts I've had since I began my profile. It's 893. Then the number of followers that I have today actually has grown since this morning, and I'll tell you a reason why later. And I'm following about 833 accounts. So that's how it is there. So to break it down, followers are people that actually see my work. They are interested in seeing my work. And the following is the number of people that I'm interested in their work and see it on my feed, okay? That's what control the flow of people coming in and out of my profile. Also, I use Instagram. I am as a social media manager. I'm the social media manager for a couple of restaurants in town, Opal and Oku Restaurant, that is a newer restaurant by the water. When I do Instagram for clients, I'm definitely a lot more intentional and strategic. First, I sit down with the owners and I define their vision, and I define the visual personality of the brand. I find the look and feel for the brand. I create a social media calendar that has objective, which guides my my photo shoots with them. And I focus on consistency on posts. I let the post insights, which I'll explain later what they are. Post insights guide the content to identify what worked and what doesn't. Okay. As you can see, really quickly here, both, and if you can visit those links, those two restaurants have totally different personalities. Even though I do the photography for both, I try to focus on, their strength and their audience. I think Opal is a lot more traditional and classic, and Oku is a lot more hip and cool. So my job as a photographer is to make sure that I capture that when I work with them. Okay. Alrighty. Now, this is exciting part for me because I'm going to share with you how is my Instagram workflow? What do I do? How I go from photographing to posting to sharing. Okay. First of all, I planned my content. I decide what I want to share and how often I want to share it. You want to make sure you set yourself for success. So if what you can commit for is to post, every other day or maybe once a week, you should do that. You shouldn't be too hard on yourself. You don't post because you're busy. But if you plan ahead, I think the more constant you are and the more often you post, the more followers you gain. So that means that your post is going to reach more people. And the more people that your photography reaches, the more people become interested in who you are, what you do, and you can create that connection to opportunities. Okay. So first I plan, then I shoot. Did I? Hold on a second. Okay, yeah. So I shoot from my camera, and when I'm on the go, when I'm actually on location shooting, I shoot using my camera and I download directly to my phone. Then I edit on Lightroom. I post from my phone to Instagram. And then from Instagram, I share with others and let them know that a new post is up. And I'm going to break this down little by little. Okay. So I shoot from my camera to my phone. I use a Canon 5D Mark IV. I've also photographed with a Sony, I photographed with a Nikon, and a lot of the newer cameras have this Wi-Fi capability, where when you're on the road, you can connect with the app on your phone and you can download images directly from your camera to your phone. Why do I do this? It's because sometimes Instagram is very instant and images need to be posted right away. So I have found a workflow that meets that need of needing things so on the go. Of course, then I go home and download my images, archive them, I put them through my computer workflow, Lightroom, any of the software that you use or that I use to edit. But on the go, I can do it. I can go from my camera directly to my phone and just use that. So and pretty much this is how it looks, when I shoot from my camera to my phone. So you see on the left-hand side, I go to my Wi-Fi settings on my iPhone, and I'm using an iPhone. I'm sorry, I don't use an Android, but the Androids, there's the same capability. You just have to, figure out where they're at. And then I connect with my camera directly. You see in the middle, I have a Canon app. So first I connect to my Wi-Fi, then I connect to my camera app, and then from my camera app, I connect to my content. Right here, we'll be able to see the images. So there's a pairing, and you can go, once you get your camera, you can go to, you can either Google how to pair your camera to your phone, or you can just see the instructions is on your manual as well, how to do so. Okay. So once I have the images, I have established connection on my phone app from my camera, I'm able to see the raw images that I photographed. And then from there, I'm able to see them in real, in full screen on my phone. You see it on the right. So, and then I can download it. I can import it into my camera roll. Okay. Just like pretty much just like you would see it in on Lightroom at home. Pretty much, you know, you can download things. So, and I can sort them by the day. I can filter them by location. So lots of great options, and I feel like it's very powerful for me. I go through my images. I choose the one I like. So right here, that's the image that I actually chose for the presentation, and I posted. I went through the whole thing. I use Instagram, the mobile app, to edit my photograph. That's once my images are downloaded from my camera into my camera roll. I try to be selective. I don't download all the images. I select the ones that I know I'm going to post, and I put them through my workflow on Lightroom. It is practical, it's instant. I can edit on the go. Then I go home and download all my images, as I mentioned, and go through my post-production or workflow at home. So my edits in Lightroom mobile app. You see in the left-hand side, I have the image as it came from my camera. At the bottom, you'll see the different editing options. You can do the healing brush, crop. A lot of these tools mirror pretty much the ones you have on your desktop. You can do color corrections. You can use your presets if you have them, and then end up with an image that pretty much is in alignment with what you like, or how you like to edit your images, or just to have your workflow. Once you're done with your image, you see the difference between the first one and the second one. That I was pleased with that edit. By the way, my style of editing, if you ask me, I make small edits. I try not to alter my images too much from the reality of this. I believe that the editing has to be subtle yet significant. It should enhance your image, but I don't like to change it too much. But that's just my personal preference. Once I go through my workflow, and like I said, I cannot explain how Lightroom mobile app, because this will be a 3-hour presentation instead of, you know, 1 hour. I export it back into my camera roll. So I share it, export it right here. And then I'm ready to post. So once I have an image ready that I like, and it's in my camera roll, I'm ready to post it. To post an image on Instagram, you have to go to your personal profile and click on the plus sign at the right top hand corner. That's an icon that it will indicate that you're ready to share your photographs into your profile. So when you go to that, once you click on that option, you have a list of options that you have of what you want to post. You can post an image, you can post a reel, you can post a story, you can post a story highlight, an Instagram video, or you can go live. To explain really quickly what they are. Post, these are the images that go on, you know, what we are most familiar with. So they're just images that go directly into your profile. Reels, they're up to 30-second mini videos that go on. Instagram decided to use Reels because they have a competition on TikTok. So a lot of people are using Reels, and that's has been great because I've increased the traffic for all different accounts. Stories are like the whistleblower of that you have posted something new. So, and then we story highlights, something that you want to leave in your website, like you see the highlights up here. Those are story highlights. IGTV video is up to 60 minutes if you're doing like a demo. You can use it, or you can go live where you can hold your audience and you invite them to join you live. Okay, so for the sake of this presentation, I'll focus on posting an image. So when you post an image, so you click post, and it's going to take you into, so Instagram takes you into the inside of your camera roll. So you can see that right there, I have my most recent images, the ones that I downloaded from Instagram. I choose the one I like. And the great thing about Instagram is besides having, putting my image through the workflow of Lightroom, I can also enhance it even further. So Instagram has the capability of going through your own editing workflow. So you don't have to have Lightroom to edit your images. That's important. So that gives you more freedom. One less step. I personally put them through Lightroom, but sometimes I'm on the go and I just put them through Instagram. And you see that the result is also great. You have adjustment, brightness, you can adjust the contrast, the structure. You can also add filters. And you see where I start and you see how I enhanced it, and that's the image that I decided to share. Okay. Once you're ready to share, once your image has been edited, then you write your caption. Okay, and I wrote a quote that's palm trees, ocean breeze, and salty hair, sun kissed air, California, take me there. So something that is catchy, appealing, and just complements your post. Okay, then you add hashtags. It's like that number hashtag is just that like # and then a word that shows everywhere, all people's posts. And what does is when you use a hashtag, it just kind of uses them as a point of reference, and it groups it into those into buckets. For example, I put this, and there's a sunset bucket, and there's a Santa Barbara bucket, there's a Santa Barbara bucket, there's a Brocante. It's like I meant to put CSB. So when I post my images, people can find me, those who follow the sunset, the Santa Barbara, and different hashtags that are there. Okay. The other thing that you could use is geotags. And geotags shows where the image was taken. And that could be either a geographic location, or it could be a particular business, a hotel, a place in the world that they already registered their tags. And you will see that under locations, and those are called geotags. So here, this sample, it says Santa Barbara, California, Butterfly Beach, Montecito. This image was taken on East Beach, so I just put Santa Barbara. And then you can tag people. Tagging people is great. Is a way that you can let others know that you have posted a new image. And who do I tag? Well, who do you think might be interested in seeing your photograph? And I'll show you. So in hashtags, I choose based on what makes sense. In hashtags, I don't use more than 5 because Instagram dings people from using too many hashtags. However, you can put more hashtags and comments if you like. So, and you initiate the process by putting the # and then write whatever it is. And then you will see it on the hashtag, and you see how many people actually follow those hashtags. There are people, I think sunset is followed by 24 million people. So then the tags, that's where you are a little bit more strategic. So I tag my content with Visit Santa Barbara. Visit Santa Barbara is a great Santa Barbara ambassador. Is the bureau, is the one organization that brings people into Santa Barbara. I want to make sure that visitors have a great time. Also tag Visit California, Travel Leisure, Santa Barbara Magazine, 805 Living, the Chamber of Commerce, Oprah Daily. And believe it or not, all those people that I decided to tag on this particular images, all those people I have been able to work with, been profiled by, because I tagged them. So yeah, the Oprah magazine connected with me. Actually, the Santa Barbara magazine today profiled one of my images, and I'll show you what that, turned out to be a result of that. So then you click post. After you're done, you click post, and then your image is live. Once your image is live, you will see in the top right hand corner, people start liking your images. That looks like a little heart. They might be leaving you comments. They might start following you. And that's just a great feeling for people that, you know, when you share your photograph, you know, people start taking interest on that. On the top side, on the top of your Instagram profile, you have all these little circles with a rainbow around it. What that means is some of the people that I follow have posted a story. A story is different than a post. A story is a highlight, something that they want me to click on. I'm sorry, something they want me to click on. You know, it's almost that they are teasing my curiosity, and they will bring me to ultimately might bring me to their profile. Okay. How to post to a story? Well, once your image has been posted, posted to Instagram, there's this little arrow. When you click on it, it might ask you to add post to your story. By clicking on it, you'll be actually putting the image that you posted into that little circle too. Okay. By posting your images to your story, you'll be letting others know that you have a new post. Post to your stories. So the great thing about posting to your stories is that you let people know that it's a new, but then it gives you the option to add graphics, add geotags, add music. You can add text. You can add questions. You can add polls. You can add quiz. You can ask people to start conversations with you. So there's a lot that could happen. So it's a lot more interactive. It's almost an invitation to be co-participant with your stories or with your posts. With my particular post today, I added music. And it is funny that I added music, and then one of my followers immediately says, like, I love the music that you put on your stories. And it's because I try to find the look and feel of that and then match it with the music. If you click on that music icon on the story up here, that will give you access to a whole library. You can ask them from songs that you might know, like California Dreamers, or you can type palm trees or anything, and you might find music that matches the mood, the feel of your photograph. You can and then choose the section of the song that you like to add to your post. Okay. I'm not, because of this particular presentation, we couldn't add music or video, so I'm doing everything as detailed as possible for you to understand how the workflow goes. So post your stories. So you will see once, you see in the before, I have my image profile. And then after I share my story, there's that little rainbow. And the little rainbow just shows on other people's feeds and shows that I have a new images. So I have a new story, something new to share. Okay. So strategic collaborations and strategic alliances and collaborations. I mentioned before that I use geotags, Montecito, California. I use hashtags, but I also tag people who might be interested in a certain image. Today, coincidentally, the Santa Barbara magazine reposted one of my photographs. Before that, most people ask permission. So I got this message. I can't remember exactly when. It says, "Good morning. Could we post this beautiful image with your tag and give you credit?" And I said, "Of course." Why? Are they going to pay me? No. This unfortunately won't be translated into a pay gig, but they do have an audience of I think it's almost 40,000 people, which is a lot larger than mine. So immediately after I posted, they repost my image, the number of followers that I gain and the number of visits, just totally increased through my profile. So it gave a lot more activity to my profile. That image has an Instagram, on my Instagram profile has about 618 likes. I don't know, I haven't followed how many they have on there, so I have to see how many likes they have, but I'm not the kind of person who's always looking for things. But anyway, that was really cool that today happened. And then the other thing is just to build a community. So when people share my images, when people leave me a comment, when people like or something, I try to acknowledge the fact that they did that. So because ultimately, besides just sharing my work and promoting my work and what I do, I'm interested in building a community. Building a community of photographers. I try to connect with my followers, reply through the comments or the DMs or direct messages, reciprocate their likes. I visit their profiles and I give them a like if something really, it's really nice. I leave them a comment. People relate to people. They relate to their content on Instagram. So today I just say thank you, Santa Barbara Magazine, for the repost. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the apps that I use. So I use, as I mentioned, I use Lightroom to do my edits and to work directly on my phone and work on my workflow. Also, Lightroom can be used on iPads or tablets. And Instagram also work with iPads and tablets, so this works great. I also use this app called Unum. This one helps me schedule my monthly post. It's just great because you're able to create a grid, and it's almost you put images on a standby of what you want to post throughout your month, and it makes it really easier for me to figure it out what I'm going to be posting the next day and the day after. So I don't wake up every day like, oh, what should I post today? That's always a daunting thing when you don't know what you're going to post. Okay, another app that I use, this one is a graphic design editor. It helps me enhance my stories, especially when I use them for my clients. So I'm able to add their logo and add captions or add their website to their story, so they look a little bit more polished, a little bit more, upscale to things. And they have all these apps. The great thing about it is like they also offer templates. So when you look at them, you are able to see and investigate, how to use them and how could they apply to your use. Some of them are free. You can open and see and try them, and some of them you might have to pay like something like $4 a month, or none of them are super expensive to use. I also use InShot to edit videos. I mentioned like you can post images, but you can also edit videos, reels. So you can make them 30 seconds, 60 seconds, depending on what you need, and add graphics and anything like that. So that's another great app, all available on the App Store. And before I open to questions, I would like to share the content that you would like to the content I recommend for you to have in your bio. So obviously you'll have your name, something that's short, recognizable. My name is ICSB. It's not necessarily my name, my first name. ICSB is also the short of my website, short name of my website, my web handle, URL, I'm sorry. So that will be your account name. Then you have a photo profile. Photo profile, I see a lot of people use images. I recommend to have actually a headshot that doesn't cover your face, just because like I said, people connect to people, and even though you might not share personal photograph on your feed, people might want to know what you look like, especially if they're looking for to hire you or to create collaborations. So it might be just nice, you know, for people to know what you look like. Then you have your profile name. There you can put a longer name, you know, Andreina Diaz, or, you know, your profile name, whatever it is that you like. And these are independent. So your account name and the name of your profile page can be different, but obviously you want to like keep them in alignment. Then you have, you know, some bullet points that describe what you do, where you're at, when your interests are, and obviously, so you have your email, and then one of the most important things is, like, you know, a link to your website. So that will help increase the traffic. You know, if you don't necessarily have an Instagram, your Instagram is, you know, not up and running just yet, but you want to like increase your website traffic. Well, maybe that's the reason why you have an Instagram. Or it could be going, like, for example, for me, goes to you know, selling my photographs. So that's another, you know, reason why I'll have it there. There is I won't overwhelm you with more information, but there's also an app that you can use if you have more than one link to, you do more than one thing and you want to link it to a number. You can do a tree link, and so basically you link on it, you have a pop-up, and you know, you can list different websites or different things that you do for people to follow you. Okay. All right. So that ends my presentation. I try to go as slow as possible, but I know I speak fast, and I always go fast, especially if you're learning about this for the first time. But this is when I open to questions, and I want to leave enough time for people to do that. But I would like to close this because I know we're all photographers. I will say that the camera is an instrument that teaches people how to see without a camera. So thank you. And now, Deb, I don't know if there is some questions or people would like to use some questions. Now is the time.
I'm muted. Bill, are you gonna handle the questions, or should I?
Why don't you go ahead?
Okay. So let me open the chat. Well, this is my question.
Okay.
You have more than one account. Like, I have a personal account that I, you know, share my personal stuff, but then I decided to have a separate photography account.
Mm-hmm.
So do you just have one account, or?
No, I actually, in my phone, I have multiple accounts. I think I have 6.
Okay.
So I have all my accounts and then my clients' accounts. And then you
That's true. Yeah.
you can log into as many as you need to, and you can travel through them without having to log out of Instagram. So just go to your profile on the top right hand side. You add a profile or account, and then you just need to have the logging, the correct logging to get that.
And this is also one of my questions was, how did you get the jobs with the restaurants?
It is to sharing my Instagram, you know, sharing my Instagram information. Sometimes I do calling, you know, I email people that I'm interested in, you know, working with, and, you know, then I introduce myself. I go to the businesses and, you know, tell them that, you know, I've been following them, and I think I'll be able to enhance their presence online, and they have been so gracious to do. Yes, I work in collaborations with the Hilton Santa Barbara. Prior to that was Fess Parker. I work with the Santa Barbara, the Palace, the restaurant downtown, to Moby Dick. I also work with the Billboard. So I've definitely had collaborations with a lot of different businesses in town.
Okay.
Primarily hospitality, food and hospitality.
And I guess it's nice that you're local, and so much of your focus is local, so that also probably resonates with them. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's a question that says, have you ever used AirDrop to post?
No, I haven't used AirDrop to post. So sometimes what I do is through Lightroom, you can sync your home library with your mobile app. So you're able to see your images that you have uploaded to your Instagram, as long as you have a cloud, you have them upload them on the cloud. So you're able to access your images that way.
Okay. And Sally, I'm not sure if you're still there. This was your question. The storage and camera roll, I'm not exactly sure what that question is.
Yeah, and I did both. The concern I have, and that's why I asked, have you ever used AirDrop to post? Because for me, my phone only has limited storage and it gets worse. And yeah, I do need it. My phone's not that old, but you know how they just kind of cram in the storage. So and especially my raw photos are 45 megapixels coming in. So, you know, you're loading things very fast. So I download to my computer, then AirDrop them so that then I can just upload them to Insta, like my phone's next to my, yeah. So I do it that way.
Okay.
But the question I have is when you do it through the Lightroom app, and I can pair my phone to, and you know, all that, and do that also. But if you do that, I'm just confused on if you know what the size file that you're doing with, and I know they come in RAW, but when does it get converted? Because I know Insta does about 1080, doesn't it, or whatever.
Yeah, so with a Lightroom, a mobile app, what another great thing that does, it compresses the file. So it's a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing because the image is just going to be shared digitally. That means that I don't need a giant, excuse me, I don't need a giant file to post on Instagram. So it just keeps it a little bit more manageable in terms of data and information that I store in my phone. So when I go from, yeah, so you see on the left, there are 73 images that I'm looking at on that particular day. That's the view directly from my camera, and they are all raw files. But when I download it just compresses into a JPEG. Once I download into my camera, the dimensions of the JPEG, I can tell you how big it is. I can look into it. I just know it's like a manageable file, and it's big enough to share on social media, but not huge to blow up all my memory.
So you're just, so what you see on that left-hand screen there, that first screen that you have there, those raw images, those are in the Lightroom app.
No, these all the images on the left, what you're seeing are the images that come from my camera.
And that's into that app called Canon Connect.
Yeah, Canon.
So that was one of my, so you do import them as raw. I thought that when you import them from your camera into that app, which I have, that they turn to JPEG, but they
turn into JPEG, yes.
Okay.
So that means, so once you do that, see what I do is a lot of times I will take them into my computer, but you're working faster than I am. I have all the time in the world because you're doing social media for clients and so forth. But yeah, my concern is if I did what you did and downloaded those on the phone, I mean, you know, my phone would start saying tilt really fast.
Exactly. So yeah, that's why this particular workflow directly from camera to phone might not be the right fit for anybody. But they also, the option that I know you will have is to sync your Lightroom. If you use Lightroom as an edit, I know that you can link your Lightroom library into your Lightroom mobile app, and then you will be accessing images like that and then post directly into Instagram that way.
Right. Okay, and Sally, you had another question here about, it says, after the edit in Lightroom, what's the transfer image size, and type in the Insta post. Did you already?
Yeah, like I said, I don't remember, I don't know the size because they are all compressed and they're just perfect, you know, for Instagram. I will have to look so I can get back to you, Sally, in terms of how big the image is. I know it is compressed, it's a JPEG, and it's small enough to be handled by my the memory, you know, in my phone. but big enough to meet the requirements of Instagram.
Yeah, and I mean, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and they're always gonna downsize your file, and you have no control over that, so it doesn't really matter. To me, it's like, what I want is, yeah, I may post on Instagram, but I might want to have a larger file that I'm gonna use someplace else for print or something
Yeah,
else.
so that's the other thing. So when I do this on the go, this is just to, just to literally just streamline my Instagram my Instagram images that I post on Instagram. However, when I go home, I go through the same process that you go through. I download my cards, I put them into Lightroom, I storage them, I make backups. So definitely a slow down quite a bit, because as photographers, we need to be careful because our images are precious.
Okay.
But when I'm on the go, I can streamline this and make it a lot more.
Okay, perfect. That makes total sense. That clarifies quite a bit.
Okay, great. And I love your image in the background. Is that Positano? Is that Amalfi Coast?
It's actually up closer to Summerlin, but it's, yeah, it's
Really?
Summerlin, Montecito. I mean, that's been my COVID therapy.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your question.
Okay, this
Next
one comes
question.
from Bob. You said, how do you compose, find hashtags, and where are they stored?
Okay.
So when you're looking for hashtags, yeah.
So when you are ready to post on Instagram, as soon as you put the pound sign and then you type a word,
Okay.
you will see that at the bottom of Instagram, it starts giving you recommendations.
Oh,
So all you have to do is, when you go to your post, you write your caption and then you type hashtag and then a word that is, that pretty much describes your photograph. And then you will see that it gives you right underneath it, it's going to give you an option. And then you can click OK. And then you go to the next hashtag. And like I said, you can go up to 5. That's what I would recommend. Not go more than that. But then on your comments, you can post a lot more hashtag if you want that. Mm-hmm.
so I thought that on the left, that was a library of captions that was on your phone.
Mm-mm. I do have a library of captions on my phone, but this one is the, I do, because, once I have it for clients, I know it's like, oh, what is it? I don't want to look for them every day. But, and I try different combinations for different pros, but this one comes from Instagram.
Okay.
So, and you will access that drop down of captions or hashtags once you put the pound and then the word, the pound and then the word, and you will notice that, Instagram is going to give you suggestions for that.
Where do you keep your library of hashtags?
I keep it under notes in my phone.
Notes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I love being in charge of the questions because I get to ask more. So in this, what's the difference between the hashtag and if with your restaurant, and I know they have an Instagram account, so then you do @opal_SB. So if you've eaten someplace and you take a picture of the food and then you just say, Santa Barbara dinner, blah, 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 but then can't you put @
Yeah, so I'll show you where that is. I think I might have it here. Yeah. So
right there. Yeah.
the question that Deb has is different than a hashtag. It's actually you're tagging someone on your caption. And by doing that, you got to know what their profile name is. And this particular said on the current issue of Santa Barbara Dining and Destinations, they actually printed one of my images as a full page on the back of their, I think, fall issue. So what you do is you put the @ symbol and then the name of their profile. And what that does is different than the hashtag. that actually when people read that, they will be able to click on it and go directly into someone else's profile.
To the restaurant, okay. And I notice over here on your, the Santa Barbara magazine, it says Coastline Cool via at ISB.
Exactly.
Okay, ICSB.
Yeah, they're giving
Oh.
me credit, and they are, you know, giving access to my profile. That's how a lot of people find me and find my work.
Right. Okay, Sally, another question from you, and you asked, is over graphics similar to Spark?
Yes, it is very similar to Spark. These are this is the app I use, but there are so many, and I have used different, including Spark. I don't think there's a perfect workflow or a perfect, you know, apps to use. It's definitely what works for you. And I've seen the work of so many different photographers and how they do their workflow, and some are very simple, some of them are more complicated. And I invite you to just kind of take a look at this. But if you have something that they're currently using, just stick with it, because, you know, time is precious, and to learn and relearn all these apps, it takes time.
Okay, then Bob had another question. He said, I have trouble finding the bio page on Instagram accounts that I follow. What's the secret key?
So when you go to each profile, the bio is just going to be at the top of their feed. So they automatically go here. I don't think I have any other example other than this one that I got, but you will see it at the top of the page. In any profile that you visit, at the very top of their feed, you will see their profile information, the bio.
Okay.
Very good.
Then Bob also asked, how do you deal with the massive resolution difference between your Mark IV and Instagram?
I leave it to my apps. So, so that one of the reasons I use my photo app, the photo app from my phone, is because they immediately does the compression for me. So when I go into the camera connect, I think at the very beginning I said I did the settings, but I did it so long ago that I chose the compression that I wanted to, and so I don't have to worry about it. So it's similar to what Sally was asking. So yes, the files are huge on 5D Mark IV, the 5D Mark IV, especially if they are raw. But I'm not downloading the raw files. I'm downloading the compressed JPEGs created by the app, and then taking them into the Lightroom app, and that compresses it even more. But it keeps the integrity of the image, so the image does not suffer. There's no pixelation. I don't lose contrast, you know, anything like that. It's just the right compression for it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my clock is chiming.
No worries.
Excuse me, I have the app also. I think every time you import the images, it asks you whether you want to reduce the size of it. And it says it recommends it. And then Michael Milholland asked, how do you control the Instagram crop? Do you crop to square before you post?
Sometimes I do. So sometimes I do post square. I'm so used to it, Mike, that to be honest, like I immediately do it in my eyes and when I shoot. But I try to make sure that all my images, they work as a square or they work as a rectangle. I don't post horizontal images that much because I feel it's hard. Instagram is not great at profiling horizontal images. However, I've seen it. People use blocks around it to do it. This image was cropped. It was a lot longer than that. So right here, when you go into post your image, there is these two little arrows, and it comes in as a square, but when you click on it, it expands it to a rectangle. And I wish I could give you this sizes. I'm sorry. I do have them, but now I'm just so used to them that I forgot. what the sizes are. But here it is, and you can crop on your phone. You know, your phone gives you cropping options for the size of square or rectangle, specifically to Instagram or Facebook or whatever you're using. So I use that sometimes to pre-crop. Also, Lightroom gives you the option to pre-crop at specific Instagram dimensions.
Well, those are all the questions that came in through the chat, but I can open it up to anybody else that has any other questions for Andrew. And
I have one.
okay, Bob.
Hi. Okay. I've heard complaints from other photographers that Lightroom mobile ends up being very expensive because they keep all of your images on their cloud, their own cloud. And so I've never tried it. I've always used Lightroom Classic.
Mm-hmm.
So have you found that, I mean, does it get expensive when you?
I do pay monthly for it. It's $9, you know, for the app. So it adds up at the end of the year, and it does give you the option to pay for a yearly membership. I like to keep it monthly just for my accounting, purposes.
Right.
So it hasn't been too astronomical yet for me. So I don't know, I don't know if they are using Lightroom to store the images and they're paying for storage capacity. That could be, like I mentioned, if you want to sync your desktop app with your Instagram app, you probably have to upload everything, or like whatever images you want have access on the go. So I could imagine that it could be very expensive, especially if you're uploading your entire library. So I try to be a little bit more selective and just work with my immediate need and whatever I'm posting, instead of just putting all my captures into Lightroom.
Another thing, I thought I'd chime in. I know what you could do is you could do what you're doing, and then you could, since you're going to download them anyway to your Lightroom Classic or whatever you have, you can delete those pictures except for the one that you post, and you have minimal up there. Or you can take it from your phone. You could actually take that and put it into to a collection.
Mm-hmm, exactly. You can do a collection.
Yeah, you can put it into a collection, and that collection's linked to your Lightroom Classic, and then you can take it off the other. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I just took a Lightroom class with Bruce Burkhart not too long ago, and he was the one that really encouraged us to get the Lightroom mobile. And I didn't think it cost anything, but I just Googled it, and it says you can use all the capture, organization, and sharing features in Lightroom for mobile for free when you purchase a subscription plan. So like I'm paying the $9.99 or whatever for Lightroom, Photoshop, and Bridge. And so I get the mobile for free.
Yeah, correct.
So, okay.
Yeah, just a little clarity. The mobile, when you have the photographer's plan with Lightroom Classic, you end up with 20 megabytes of storage on the Lightroom, the online Lightroom.
Okay.
If you just buy the Lightroom app and you don't have the other one, you don't have Photoshop with that, the $9.99 gives you something like a terabyte or something of storage. So you do get it for free when you have the Lightroom Classic and Photoshop combination, but it's got fairly limited data in that case.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's all the questions that have come in. Does anybody else have anything?
I'm curious, how Andre, how much time do you spend in a day on doing your social media stuff?
Oh, a lot more than my mom would like me to. It is, I try to limit it. So the way I do it, because I do it just not only for myself, but also for clients, I try to touch bases with my phone 3 times a day, morning, midday, and evening. So, or afternoonish. So especially for clients, I try to keep it to a minimum. So to respond to messages, to respond to the comments. But I would say every week my phone tells me how much I've used Instagram, and I would say it's an average of 3 hours a week, 3 to 5 hours a week that I use Instagram, which is good considering that I'm on it all the time. But you have the option to be as much as you wanted to, as engaged as you wanted to. I would say it's highly addictive, so I don't recommend people to be too close to it. Just spend the time that you need to just make the connections, be intentional, and just build your communities that way. And then just go have real life with real people and enjoy them. Go take pictures, because that's where the magic happens.
Terrific.
Yeah. Thank you so much. There were so many little tidbits. I've been doing it for a while, but I'm by no means proficient. I loved being able my kids both do the stories a lot, and
Yeah.
I was never quite sure how to do that. So all those screenshots were great. And I like the planning and how often you want to post, because I get really lazy. When I travel, I do a lot of posting, because that way I don't have to email people with my pictures. But when I'm not traveling, I'm not posting that much. So I think it's good to be consistent, especially if you want people to keep looking at your stuff.
Exactly.
We just saw another question came in from Steve Sherrill. Can you use Instagram without a phone?
No, you can if you have a tablet. If you haven't, you can use it. You can do it through a tablet, so an iPad or a smart tablet.
I know you can log into your Instagram account on a web browser, but I don't know that you can post from the web browser.
You
Is
can
that right?
post.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, you can see others from the computer and your own feed, but you can't do any interaction.
Exactly. You cannot leave messages. You cannot you can just view things. Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you so very much.
You're very welcome. It has been an honor to be part of this group. Thank you, Deb, for the invitation and for inviting me. Glad that that you found this information useful. I know there's probably a lot more questions. You can email me or just message me on Instagram. You'll find me there quite a bit. And then the other thing is, here it is. Here's my information. The other thing is that you have the recording to go back to and slow it and rewind and just stay curious. This is something that every day I learn more and more, and it's constantly changing. So I think social media is for those who of curious spirits, because it's constantly changing and evolving, and it just challenges that way to stay on top of things, but keep things fresh.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for an engaging program. We had, I think, up to 24, 25 people at the height of the meeting. So you reached a few more. I bet you're going to have a few more followers if any of us have Instagram.
And I would love to see you. I think I told Deb after she took her classes, it's like, follow me, tag me, let me know what you're doing. I want to see your photograph, because this is the reason why I became photographers. It's just to see each other's work, and everybody has a unique point of view, and they're going to specific places that not all of us have access to. I think there is quite a value for everything that they do on how we do it. So I encourage you to share, build this community that we have, and continue to shoot, because we want to see what you're doing. We want to see what you're seeing.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. All right, thank you, Andre. Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. It was a pleasure.